Hello, family. Welcome back to the African Diaspora News channel. I am Wongel Zelalem, and today we're talking about polygamy. The reason why I wanted to talk about polygamy today is because of a video I just watched today. As you know, the famous, popular live streamer IShowSpeed is in Africa as we speak. He is having his African tour, which a lot of people appreciate because he has a lot of fans on the continent of Africa. And also, to be honest, like we're very happy that someone is taking the time, someone as big as him, taking the time to do this in Africa. Like a lot of artists, singers, uh, celebrities, they skip Africa even when they have world tours. The world tour is usually involving a few continents, and just skip over Africa, even though there's a huge market for that. They just, never um, spend time in Africa. So we appreciate that Speed is here for sure. But also, he is learning a lot about this different African countries and different African cultures. Currently, as we speak, he, at least when I was watching the video, he was live streaming in Eswatini. It's a southern African country, and they are pretty serious about their culture. A lot of African countries nowadays, they're modernizing. I don't know if I want to call it westernizing, but definitely getting rid of their roots, getting rid of their culture, especially like younger generation. They tend to be a little bit more relaxed, and they don't hold their cultural values as much as some other countries. But Eswatini for sure are representing in that way. And I Show Speed went to Eswatini. I'm about to show you a video of him learning about polygamy, especially in that country, and what it means, how the men and the women live, and how many wives the men can take along with a girlfriend, aside from their wives. So it was quite interesting to see him learn in real time, because he live streams everything. I don't know how they do this, honestly. Live streamers, I'm live streaming right now as we speak, but like to live stream hours and hours and show every single thing you're doing, every single interaction, where you're going, when you're sitting in the car, when you're leaving, when you're going to the restaurant, when you're eating, when you're having a conversation with your friends, it's just too much. I don't know how they do it, but good for them. I guess they people enjoy watching their daily lives, hence why they're very popular. So yeah, I'm glad that our brothers and sisters are finding a way to stay relevant, not just that, to make money. So let me just show you a video of oh, someone wrote salute both to Kaisanat. Yes, Kaisanat also came. You're right. I'm not sure if he toured though. I think Kaisanat went to Nigeria and that was it, or maybe a few countries. I don't know. I've only seen a Nigeria post. So yeah, but iShowSpeed is having like a proper tour. Not every country I don't think he's traveling to, but he's definitely making his rounds. Now let me show you this video.
But you got two girlfriend.
Yes,
But you got two wives.
yes, but I can still, as I said, that a man in Eswatini is allowed to take as much as you like wives, as long as you are rich enough to pay and support them.
Wow.
Because when I bring my girlfriend, I go to the first wife, come and do my bed. When she has come to do the bed, he introduces the new girlfriend. Second wife, bring my food. When she brings the food, I introduce my girlfriend. Because if I've married in our Eswatini customs and law, there was no divorce. If maybe I see that my wife, she's cheating on me or she's practicing witchcraft in my home, I ask another man just to take her back to her parents. Then I'll try to negotiate my bride price back.
Damn.
Okay, I also want to point out a few things, because there are, I know, some cultural differences, and I might need to explain a little bit more what this man is saying. This country, as I said, that he filmed this at is called Eswatini, and the man is explaining to him how he has wives. He has two wives, but he also has a girlfriend, and he's explaining to him how he will introduce them to one another. And also about the women, like if he finds his wife, let's say, cheating or doing something that she's not supposed to, there's a way for him to now go back to her family and renegotiate her bride price. Bride price is money or cattles or something of value that men in some cultures and countries in Africa have to give to the woman's family in order to to get her, like to be married to her. So now, since he has paid her bride price, if she cheats on him, now he has to go back and say, okay, are you going to give me back my money? How much of it will you be giving me back? So that's what he's explaining to him.
Yeah, an interesting culture.
That's very interesting, man.
Then you see my heart, it's near to the new wife because I have to look after the new one because the old one knows the rules of the home. But the first one, it's in a good position because when my mom dies, she becomes my mom.
Wait, when your mom.
If in case you missed it, I think the audio is maybe not the best. He is telling him that he has huts. I believe in this clip he's showing him his different huts. I hope this is the clip. Otherwise, sorry, I'll just explain it to you. So he's telling him that, you see behind him there's like a hut. So he builds each of his wife's huts, and he said the newest wife, her hut will be closer to him, just so he can keep an eye on her, because she's new to the family. She might not know wrong from right, or how he wants his wives to be, and how the family will be handling business. She has to be closer to him. And then he also said that once his mother passes away, the first wife now becomes his mother. I don't think it's like she becomes his mother, but like she acts like the matriarch, because like she's the oldest one from the relationship. By the way, Eswatini, as I said, is a southern African country, so their culture is different than, let's say, where I'm from, like an East African country. We don't have this here, but I'm just explaining to you their culture.
Mom dies, she become your mom. Wait, what?
Yes, she becomes my grandmother.
And she becomes the oldest woman
Man.
in the homestead.
Yes.
He said when his mom passes away.
Yes.
The first wife becomes the oldest woman here.
Oh.
So she gets to make the rules.
So the
next.
first wife has the most power.
Yes,
Yes.
authority.
But while my mom is still alive, I will have to treat them equal.
Now that is new to me as well. I'm just learning about this, because I did not know, until the mom passes away, they're going to be treated equally, like his wives, like the first wife, the second wife. But once his mom passes away, his first wife becomes more so like that his right hand, like the since she's the oldest one there, she's going to have more respect, more power, and that is what he is explaining.
So you're thinking about applying for citizenship. You can have yourself 2 wives and a couple of girlfriends on the side.
No.
You only get that here in Eswatini.
So you only have 2 wives but multiple girlfriends?
Yeah, you can do that. It's allowed. You're the man.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's Eswatini.
Yeah.
Chat, hey, I might gotta move in, man.
Yes,
You might gotta make me a hut, chat.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Shit. Okay, what else is here? What else
See
is
the girls.
Yeah.
You can see how that made him a little bit speechless, which is understandable. He's coming from a totally different culture, and yeah, they're telling him that in their culture they can have multiple wives, and on top of that they can have a girlfriend.
See the girls.
Yeah, let's see the girl. Let's see the girls. Let's go see the girls.
Yeah, he after this they take him to see the girls. I don't have the clip here for you, but he goes to see the girls. Some girls he is chatting up. It turns out one of the girls he's talking to is this man that was showing him around, his daughter, and he was telling him, you can pay the bride price right now. I believe he asked him for how many cows. I forget the number. He told him how many cows he needs to pay in order for him to take her as a wife. The girl was shy. Just it was a really interesting interaction to watch, because you can see the shock on Speed's side, but also the cultural difference is very apparent. But you see, when we talk about polygamy, I also want to make it very clear: it's not everywhere. One, it's illegal in some parts of Africa. Okay, some African countries, it's outlawed, it's not acceptable. But a lot of African countries, for example, in case you're interested, I want to share the countries that it's legal. In some countries it's legal, but some countries it's just customary. There's a difference. They will accept it or allow it because it's culture, but legally they're only allowed to have one wife, or the legally only one wife is accepted, but culturally they can have more. Like they can go have a ceremony culturally, that the society will accept the second, the third wife, but legally it's the first wife that is accepted. So there are different legalities to it, but the ones that allow, let me just tell you, Algeria, Cameroon, Central African Republic, Chad, Comoros, Djibouti, Egypt, Eswatini, the country that you just saw Speed at, that's where he was, and that's where he was getting a tour. Gabon, the Gambia, Guinea, Kenya, Libya. By the way, in Kenya, it's legally acceptable as well, not just customary. Libya, I said, Mali, Mauritania, Morocco, Nigeria, um, Sao Tome and Principe, Senegal, Somalia, South Sudan, Sudan, Tanzania, Togo, Uganda, Zambia, and South Africa. These are a lot, a lot of countries, right? Like this is, yeah. But illegal, I believe I have them here for you. Um, I thought I had them. Okay. I don't at the moment. But this countries I just mentioned, it's legal. Like you can actually take those wives. As I said, there might be like differences. Is it going to be legal? Is it going to be just customary? But at the end of the day, it happens. Even as countries like in Ethiopia, even though legally it's not acceptable, customary wise, if you go to the rural areas, certain regions, certain tribes, it's practiced, and some religions, right? It is practiced and it's acceptable and within the society, that is. And it happens, by the way. And a lot of the times when people are talking about polygamy, they tend to just focus on the man's side, or just talk about like, oh, men are getting this and that. But believe it or not, in this culture, some of these cultures, the women actually want it. Like they like it. Why, you may ask? Because in Africa, for the most part, um, work is delegated, like the house chores, the kitchen work, all the house stuff, like nothing to do with bringing in money, it's delegated to the wife. So when the woman has a lot of responsibilities in this culture, some of them actually beg their husbands to take in a second wife so that they can find a helper themselves. It's out of necessity. They're like, they're happy that someone else is sharing the responsibilities they have in the house with them. So they encourage their husbands. And the other side, why women, some women like polygamy in these cultures, is because of financial support. So when, as you even heard in this clip, when the man takes in two wives, he takes care of both of them, and it's a responsibility. It's not one of those things where he'll have a family here, he'll have a family there. Like, you know how there's always a debate about how in the Western world, at least, like Nick Cannon, YZ, creating broken homes. It's not like that with this polygamy cultures, because it is part of the culture. They have responsibility. There's laws they have to follow within the community. So when he's building his first wife a hut, he has to build his second wife a hut as well. When he's buying his first wife, let's say cows and cattle, farm items, he has to do the same thing with the second wife. When he's taking care of and paying school fees for the first one, he has to do for the second one. So in a way, it's more structured and it protects the women. Like, especially if you're financially vulnerable, you would, at least to this, according to this woman, they appreciate it. They like being taken care of. They like being part of this polygamy structure. So that's one thing to note, because I don't want you guys to believe just after you saw this clip, it's just everywhere in Africa. It's not everywhere in Africa. Even in this, in his live streams, you'll see people commenting in Africa saying, "Wait a minute, I am an African living in Africa, but of course a different country. I've never heard of this. I didn't know you can do this. I didn't know this happened. So even for many of us, it's not a norm. It's not everywhere. Is what I'm trying to get across. Actually, so oh, thank you. We got a super chat. Unity Strength said I attended um, Yumumelo ceremony for a group of girls who became women at 16. Their fathers had the young men stick fight over the girls for the right to offer lobola dowry, prove strength, then wealth. That is interesting. That is, I'm assuming, is it in South Africa? But I'm pretty sure it's in a Southern African country because you said lobola. In other parts of Africa, for example, in East Africa, it's called dowry. So even in Ethiopia, there's a culture, not when it comes to polygamy, but in the, I believe it's in the northern, no, southern region, when a man wants to take a woman for a wife, they have to prove themselves. They have to jump through hoops and cows, actual literal cows, to see their strength. They have to go through a lot of like almost ritual to show that they are capable, they are reliable, they are strong enough to take care of that responsibility. So the woman's family will not just give away their child just like that. They will demand to see that the man that is trying to take their child is worthy enough, and they have to go through a lot, like a lot of vetting and showing their strength and how they think and how they can take care of her financially. So yeah, there is that kind of responsibility that they have to take on. Um, yeah. Salamu said, in my country, for Christians, it is not okay to have more than one. Yes, as I mentioned earlier, I don't know where you're from. In Africa, certain countries made it legal. Most countries have allowed it, like customary wise. It will happen. They won't come for you to arrest you or anything, but they will only accept, or they will only recognize the first wife. The what is it called? The one, like monogamy, that's what they will accept. But some countries, as I mentioned, like Kenya, they will legally accept the wife, the second wife, I believe. So yeah, that is quite interesting to see, right? For many people, at least, they were shocked, including Speed, that this happens in modern day, but it does. It sure does. But at the very least, as I said earlier, there is, in this cultures, there is some kind of accountability. They're not going to take a second wife for the sake of taking a second wife. They have to ensure that they are good economically, like financially. If they're not able and capable to take care of another wife, they're not going to do it, because even the society will look at them sideways, because they have to treat their wives for the most part equally. Although I'm hearing that the first wife got a lot of like privileges and respect, because mostly he got the first wife when he was younger, so she's his age mate. They built this life together, so there's like a respect, and the others sometimes can be seen like helpers, you know what I mean, like an assistant, like someone's there to help me. But this guy also in Eswatini was telling Speed that if he's spending one night with his first wife today, he has to go and spend the second night with the other wife. So equality, right? So that they are treated equally. So yeah, at the very least, it holds this man accountable. Like they can't just go around having babies everywhere, or having girlfriends everywhere. It has to have like a structure, which I think that's why some women like it, because that means they'll be taken care of, right? So yeah, let me see if there's anything I missed. Yeah, and by the way, reports show nowadays, even within those countries, that it is legal. Polygamy is being exercised less and less and less. Why, you might ask? because of financial issues. Now people are struggling with even, one wife, to make sure that they take care of the household. So now even the wives are going out to work, just like in Western countries. Both of them are going out to work, meaning she's not just taking care of the house, so she has to go out and work. If that is the case, imagine him coming home and saying, I want a second wife. How are you going to take care of her? You're not able to. So that is stopping a lot of modern men in Africa, even though they can technically take a second wife if they want to. They will not opt for that because they just can't afford to. And that's the reality. Hello, African Enterprise. Yeah, Roland said, salute both Kai Senat and IShowSpeed for traveling back home and showing both Black America and the rest of the world the untold beauty of African countries. Yeah, good on them. It's like, what makes me happy to see them doing this is because they're the younger generation. So even the people that follow them are younger, like the younger crowd, Gen Zs, younger than that. So it's beautiful to see them exposing their community to African countries, cultures, people. It's a good positive news that definitely some people don't want out there, and I'm happy that they're doing that, right? So it's beautiful to see them doing that. Kudos to them, and may they continue to grow and enjoy their life, because at this very young age I can't imagine having all this influence and power. Like, I'm pretty sure it could have pushed them in the wrong direction, but they're still doing it. They're still showing up positively. Well done to them. And yeah, good job for them. um Let me see your chats. Oh, on another note, Kamet is talking about something else, but yeah, you're talking about African Union is corrupt, hence why Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger broke away from the AU. Well, did they? They broke away from ECOWAS, but AU, I think they were suspended, if I'm not wrong, but I could be wrong. I'll have to check. Roland said people are patiently waiting for IShowSpeed to visit Nigeria. They're waiting for him to visit everywhere almost. Like, I don't know how fast he can go through all these countries. He has a few days, if I'm not wrong. Like, I don't think he gave himself a long time to visit. But Africa, as you know, is larger than what they want you to think or believe. But yeah, it's a lot of countries to cover. I don't think he'll get the chance to do everything. But yeah, good for him. And also, I don't know if you've, okay, maybe you haven't, because once you know how the algorithm works, once you watch something about something, it's always feeding you the same thing. So my feed has been flooded with IShowSpeed content, and a lot of, let's say, how do I say this, people that are not different races. Okay, let's put it that way. Different races are talking about how they're shocked to see IShowSpeed in Africa, and they're worried for him, and they hope that he comes back home safe, and hope he doesn't get this and that and kidnapped. And it's weird, but I've also seen a lot of positive videos being made, people being pleasantly surprised to see that these Africans don't live in, trees on top of trees, and they're not swinging, and they're not, it's good. It's also, as I said earlier, good marketing for those countries. Someone said the Libits said, don't like. I'm thinking you're saying don't like to polygamy, to each his own, which is, as I said, it's even in Africa, it's not everywhere. But, we have to learn to respect others and their cultures and see it, appreciate it for what it is. And it doesn't mean that we have to do it. It doesn't mean that we have to exercise the same thing. We can look at it, we can learn about it and say, wow, cool, and you move on. So, yeah. The geek surgeon said, interesting. I hear you. It's quite interesting. And there was more. I thought I had the clips, but there was more. He was showing him around. They were, as I said, negotiating about bride price. it's a lot of it's a foreign concept for many people. Actually, even in my culture, it's not. We don't hear this a lot. So when you hear about someone has to pay, like the man has to pay to get the woman, you're like, oh my goodness, like how does that happen? But it's part of the culture. And for example, I can give you a little bit of like a cultural from my culture from Ethiopia. There's this culture, not polygamy. I'm talking about marriage culture. So when you're trying to get married, right? When let's say the man and the woman agree to get married and they want, to make it official, the first thing the man has to do is collect older men that he respects, like we call them shumagale, which means like elders. He will pick, like, let's say 4, 5, 6, however many that he has, older men that he respects, he appreciates. He could be part of his family friend, and then he sends them to the girl that he wants to marry, her house. So when he sends them to her home, her family will receive them, and then the guys that are coming in, the elders, will say, we are here to ask for your girl's hand in marriage. If this guys, like the girl's parents and family members, agree, they'll tell them, okay, have a seat and let's have a feast, let's eat, let's drink, and we'll come up with the date, or we'll decide when the official marriage is going to be. Or if they don't want, they'll say, no. Sometimes they'll say no as like like a back and forth, not necessarily because they want to say no, but it's part of the culture. They'll say no to them, they'll go back, and they'll come the next week or so, and then they'll say, okay, cool, we accept your request, and they'll accept it. But within that culture, like it's kind of beautiful in my opinion. Maybe I'm biased because it's my culture as well. But he, when he goes there, his elders, the people that he sent, they have to explain, our son will take care of your daughter, we'll make sure that she has a good life, we'll make sure that he will treat her well. And the beauty about this culture is, down the line, after this people get married, and let's say they have issues, let's say 5 years, 10 years, when after they're married they have some issues, you know what happens? They will involve the same elders, or at least elders that are respected in the family, and they will ask for help. And those elders will come, will sit them down and say, what's the problem? We'll hear out both sides, and they'll come up with ideas or advice to give them. They don't just divorce just like that, you know what I mean? So it involves people to help you out, sort it out, because they're also older than you. We assume that they have more wisdom, right? So they help out in that way, where they help mend your relationship when there's an issue between the husband and the wife. So culturally, I think it's a good thing, because as much as you can, if it's not such a horrible commitment and relationship, it's good to make it work. It's good to try at least your very best, and this culture facilitates that mending of relationship as well. So yeah, that's a little bit about African culture. I hope I didn't forget anything. um yeah, and also earlier I kind of touched on it. The reason why, by the way, this most countries in Africa, the ones that practice polygamy, it's way before even colonization happened. So it was here culturally before anything, right? And they used to choose that not just because they desire to have a lot of women, or because the women desire to be part of a polygamy. It's because of lineage, and it's because of protecting what's theirs. And there's something that all of them agree on, and that is, it helped them with survival, as I said earlier, because they're protected. The women are not going to be discarded, or he can't just leave her with her baby. He has the responsibility to take care of even the second, third wife. So it's an interesting culture for sure. And Nilotic said African men are not weak. Snoopy said, much love. You're from California. Much love to my people and the motherland. I would love to visit one day for sure. For sure, brother. You're very welcome to come. Hi, Susan. And my scale said, so this is cool. Yeah, it's an interesting, definitely interesting culture. Cool J said it's biblical. Most of our ancient ancestors since Abraham had multiple wives. What what to watch said legally or lawfully. Like they as I said earlier, like there are, even if let's say it's not legal like certain countries, it's the government don't do anything about it when they're culturally marrying. You know what I mean? Like because it's part of the people, right? And it's called customary. That's what they call it. What do I said? Nothing wrong with being thirsty. Suzanne said, really? Yep, really. The geek surgeon said, time for me to get a plane ticket to see if I want this. Yeah, go check it out. Like for sure. Speed was negotiating bride price. I wish I saved that video for you, but you can go find it somewhere, I'm sure, because he was live streaming it. He was negotiating bride price. And for you, because you have US dollar, it's probably, way cheaper than someone from here that is trying to negotiate, because the US dollar has more power. Like it's just an accurate statement. um Thank you, Ebenflo. Jojo said, don't bring it to the West. I don't think you're allowed to. I don't think you can because it's illegal, I'm pretty sure. So I don't think they're gonna bring it there. Kurt said, we've got to stay focused, ladies and gentlemen. And continued to say, we need it in the West. But someone right before you was saying, do not bring it to the West. So you have to argue with them. Yes, some cultures in Ethiopia also do that, but it's not really, it's not a popular thing, especially in modern day. Back in the days, there was even such thing as when you're about to get married. What was it called? Oh, I forget. When you're about to get married, the husband brings gifts like gold and clothing and just perfume. And the last time I saw that happening was, I think I was like 7 or 6 years old. So up until this stage, I haven't seen anybody else doing that because it's slowly dying. Yeah, dowry. Anyways, fam, thank you so much for this chat. Hopefully, you got a thing or two, some new information, or maybe it's something that you already knew. But I Show Speed for sure learned something new that day. I'll see you on the next one, actually tomorrow. Stay blessed. Bye.